We are back talking Indianapolis 500 coverage on Prime Sports Speed with Eric Smith live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's his backyard, so he gets to hang out there it's been a week. He's going to hang out there for another week and a couple of days. When it's all said and done, we're going to have to drag him out of there. But this is our qualifying show because it's Friday, the day before qualifying. It's Fast Friday. We had our practice report that we just finished a minute ago. So both the practice report for Fast Friday and our qualifying preview side by side. So check them both out, and then we'll be back again with more coverage of the Indianapolis 500 next week. And then obviously all the way through to the 500 itself. But Eric, you're live from the track. Qualifying's tomorrow. What's going on?
Yeah, it's used to be one of the bigger weekends of the whole motorsports calendar was qualifying for the Indianapolis 500. It used to be 4 days. It's down to 2. If you look at old videos, if you look at old videos from 60s, 70s, 80s, there was 150, 175,000 people that would come to watch one car go around the track for 10 miles. They've diluted it. Now it's down to 2 days. Start Saturday, finish it on Sunday for a Fast 9 shootout and last row shootout. I'll get into the details of all those in a minute. But, it's finally here. We'll set the 35 cars for 33 spots here this weekend to set the field. 2 of them will go home.
Okay, and what's the difference between how NASCAR qualifies and the IndyCar series? Because we know in NASCAR, you can eliminate about 10 or 15 drivers. They're not winning. They're just there. How is it different? How many cars have a chance to win the Indy 500?
Honestly, probably this year I would say 25 to 28 of the 33. I would not be shocked could win this race.
Okay.
Pretty much your whole field almost. That's how tight this field is. That's how close this racing is. That's how important qualifying is, because the guys have all told me this week that passing this year between the top 3 and 4, really easy. You can get a draft, you can pass. You're going to see a lot of swapping of the lead. You're going to see a lot of slingshot passing. Should be a hell of an ending. 5th on back, really difficult. The dirty air, the aero screen, it's just turbulence. This field's so good, it's hard to pass. So it's going to make it a even more so qualifying predicated race. You want to start up front. The last 3 years, the winner started from the front row. These guys are so good, there's not much drop off anymore. So with that much talent that could win this race, qualifying is important. So I would say, compared to NASCAR, you could probably narrow it down to about 10 to 12 drivers any given week. Yeah, these guys would win. Everybody else, no shot. IndyCar, especially here this year, like I said, 25 to 28 drivers, I could really make a solid case that, I wouldn't be shocked if driver ranked 28th on my list wins this race, and here's why. That speaks to the volume and quality of this field.
Now, it's interesting because the last 5 years, we've had 5 different drivers from 5 different teams win poles, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And this season, we've had 5 different drivers win the pole in 5 different races.
Yes.
So, and how many, and you just talked about the last 3 Indy 500s came from the front row.
Yep.
Okay. So, in that case, how has it been this year? Are we 4 out of 5 in the front row winners?
4 out of 5 in the top 2 rows. So the top
2
4
rows.
Yep.
Okay. So it seems to me, with all of that being said, you want to qualify in the top 2 rows to win this race.
Absolutely. And this one you add because they start 3 by 3. So technically the top 2 rows, this race gets you 6 instead of 4.
Top 6. Okay.
So absolutely. The Fast 9, when I go to the format here in the show, that's what you really want to get into. They call it the Fast 9. Road courses is the Fast 6. Here's the Fast 9. It's top 3 rows. Your shots of winning this race dramatically go up to get in the Fast 9. So that's what everybody's going for. But the farther you go up in the Fast 9, even the better. So I'd still say, especially as guys are starting to separate themselves of looking better and better against the rest here, I'd say probably the top 2 rows, you got a winner, a safe bet out of that.
Okay, and let's then get a prediction from you based on the last 5 years. So give me a sixth driver from a sixth team that has the best chance, you believe, to win the pole.
I'm going to say Sato. I'm going to go Takuma Sato.
Oh.
He's looking good today. Great on the no-toe. He's doing great all week in practice. Ray Hall Letterman has not won a pole here in years. I think 2004 might have been the last. Him and Graham made the top Fast 9 last year. Sato started on the front row. I believe he was second or third last year, on memory serves correct. So he did it last year. He's got good pace this year. He hasn't won a pole this year either. So the trend follows that, and the trend follows the 6 teams. So I would say Ray Hall Letterman's got the best chance of a team to keep this going out of the guys that haven't won a pole yet, and Takuma Sato would be my pick among them to do so.
Okay, and then I'm going to get your prediction on who you actually think is going to win the pole, and if it's going to be different from your prediction earlier this week, which was Will Power. But let's talk about the weather. Will the weather be a factor? And if so, what will be the difference between what we've seen during the week with practice, what we're going to see tomorrow with qualifying, and then depending on what the weather will be next week for the 500?
Definitely a fact. This track is very weather dependent. The first few days this week were cloudy, cool, overcast, 60s, low 70s. Then it shot right up to the mid 80s, and it's going to be close to 90 this weekend. So, as you talked about on NASCAR shows too, hot temperatures lead to a hot, slick track.
Yes.
Well, these cars are always on edge here in qualifying. They, like I said, the fast Friday, the boost levels go up, the downforce comes down. That already leads to some out of control cars. Then you throw in a hot track and 4 laps, tire fall off. It's treacherous. Plus, you don't want to wreck because you lose your time and you could be in the last row shootout. So it's definitely going to affect the cars. It's going to affect them over a 4-lap run. It's one thing to be good on lap 1 here. You could run 231 miles an hour on lap 1. But by the lap 4, you could be down to 228. So your lap 1 may not win you the pole. The lap 3 and 4 is probably going to what wins you the pole. You may be 229 on lap 1, but only go down to low 229, high 228 by lap 3 or 4. So it's going to be all about sustaining speed between lap 1 and lap 4 and minimizing tire fall off. Hot track, it's hard to do. So it's all about finding that right balance. So that's why the temperatures are going to affect that, and it's going to affect the speeds because the higher the temperatures go, the lower the speeds come. So we've had a run with 230 mile an hour pole speeds lately. It happened last year. It's happened, I believe, 6 times recent years. So does that happen on Sunday on the Fast 9 shootout is what remains to be seen. We're over 230 today. I think that bodes well. But can you get 4 laps of over 230 the 4-lap average? That's what's going to be the biggest question mark going into this weekend.
Now, the boosts were turned up in practice today, correct?
Just today, yep.
Okay, so does that mean that if we have 1 or 2 cars that do pretty well today in practice,
yep,
and then they end up in the top 6, then hey, these are the 2 cars I'm going with to win the Indy 500.
Yeah, if those cars look good today, especially on the no-toe, and then you look at what they've done in race practice before this, yeah, they separate themselves. Those would be the ones, absolutely.
And again, I'm not even talking about like they could be 3rd and 5th in practice today,
yep,
and they could end up 4th and 5th in qualifying, but they're the only 2 cars that were both equally good in practice and qualifying. Still, just because they're not the fastest in practice or on the pole in qualifying, those are still the 2 cars to beat.
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
That's definitely what you want to look for.
All right. So let's go with speeds themselves. Is this just more for fans as far as how fast these drivers are going, or does it matter when we're handicapping the race?
More for fans. The speed, and that's why they turn the boost levels up, is for fans, because they could qualify on race setup. I mean, what's the difference between, and you can't see it with the naked eye.
What is the difference in speed?
The boost levels will give you between 7 and 8 miles an hour extra compared to race day setups. But if you see
noticeable?
It running, not in person, no. The drivers obviously feel it because it changed. You're going faster into a turn. But the naked eye watching it, no. I think just for the fans, if you hear 230, 231, 232, it sounds a lot better than 225, 224. So it's for the fans. That's all it's for.
All right. Okay, so give us some. Now, you said Will Power in the beginning of the week.
Yes.
How confident are you still that Will Power will or can win the pole?
A lot lower now that I talked to you today. If you would have asked me this morning, I would have said, I feel great. I talked to him this morning. He seems confident. They said they went all in on Fast 9, and they expect to be there. And then you look at the Noto report, and he was like 25th or something like that before I came down for this call. So I'm definitely less confident in my will. 22nd. So less confident because I'd expected them to show a little bit more by now. The Hondas look like they've got an advantage still in qualifying trim, that's for sure. And it makes me change my pick to maybe a Honda driver.
Now, Tony Kanaan was fastest in practice on Thursday. He's leading the practice today.
Yes.
So he's definitely up there, where if he qualifies in the top 2 rows tomorrow, you got to take him.
You do. And he's going to get better odds because he's a part-time driver. So he hasn't won in a while. I don't think he's won since 2014, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow,
season
really?
finale. He hasn't won this race since 2013. So you're going to get good odds for him. And he is phenomenal at this track. He's got a good car. It's his best car he said he's had in a while. So I would definitely, Tony Kanaan is going to be one. If he qualifies up front, definitely want to take him.
Okay. Give me before you give me your prediction, give me a couple of drivers that you think, maybe besides Will Power, that you think has to make a huge jump, and it would probably surprise you if they ended up in the first 2 rows tomorrow. Would you count Marco Andretti in that?
Yes, because he's telling me how bad his car at Marco. I would say Hunter Ray at the moment, Hinchcliffe. I'd say the Penske's. I'd say right now the Penske's getting the top 2 rows at this moment would be a win for them compared to how far off on the Noto. So I'd say those are probably some of the bigger names.
What about Helio?
I feel like he's got something. He's looking decent these last couple days. His Meyer-Shank car is an alliance with Andretti, and he showed me something yesterday. He's got Honda power. He's a great qualifier, so I think he would shock some to get in the top 2 rows, but I don't think he'd be as much of a shock to me.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Give us your prediction. Who's going to win the pole?
I am going to go, honestly, probably Scott Dixon. He hasn't won the pole here since. Here's a weird stat. A lot of people don't realize. Everybody talks about how he's probably the greatest driver of this generation. 6 championships. He's one win shy of tying Mario Andretti for the all-time wins list. He hasn't won a pole since this race in 2017. That's the last IndyCar pole for him. He was started on the pole in Texas, but that was because he was leading the points. They didn't qualify. So he looks good. He goes for it. Last time he won a pole here, weird story enough, he turned the wrong direction out of his gates here. You go left out of gate 2 down here. It's a little bit not the best of areas, and he got robbed at gunpoint at Taco Bell after winning the pole at the Indianapolis 500. I think he redeems himself. I think Scott Dixon. Something just tells me Scott Dixon. I'll give you a front row of Dixon, Sato, and I'm going to go Ed Carpenter. Going to find his way to the front row too, the hometown guy.
Ed Carpenter. All right, and Dixon was the favorite coming in, right? Or no, was he the points leader?
He's the points leader. I think Newgard might have been the favorite coming in.
Really? Well, he's not doing well.
He's never won here. Coming in, him and Dixon were 2 of the top favorites coming in.
Yeah, he's pretty slow today.
Yeah, he's not looking real good. I'm a little nervous with Newgard. He was going to be one of my picks to win, but right now I'm a little nervous for him.
Okay, and all right, so you have Dixon, Sato, and Ed Carpenter. That'll be those. Okay, that's how you see it. And tell us what we have to look forward to tomorrow, coverage-wise, because it's 6 hours almost.
Yeah, so you're going to be 12 to noon is going to be on Peacock, the streaming network. 2 to 3, they're moving to Network NBC. Continue to keep going. 3 to 6 to close the day, they'll go to NBCSN. They stop at 5:50, but here's the caveat to all this. you draw for your qualifying spots tonight. Usually the guys that got an early draw because the track's cooler at noon compared to 2 o'clock, they're usually quicker. So qualifying draw means something. And they usually all will go 1 through 35. They'll all run. You've got unlimited attempts from there. So you want to be in the top 9 because on Sunday, the Fast 9 from tomorrow will re-qualify. They get 1 attempt, and you're going to start fastest to slowest. That's to set the top. Yep. The bottom, so 31 through 35 will have to re-qualify Sunday too. And 2 of the 2 slowest, when they re-qualify, will not make the race. They'll go home.
Okay. All right.
So what makes tomorrow interesting with the limited attempts, you want to get in the top 9. Which has the margin between 5th to probably 25th is small. It could be a gust of a wind. It could be a bobble and a turn. It could take you from a fast 9 to last. So you're going to see guys continually going out. You're going to want to position yourself to be in the top 9. You want to shot the pole. But you also don't want to be in the bottom 31st on back. So you're going to have guys positioning themselves all day. You can go as many times. But here's the catch to all this. There's 2 qualifying lines. So once you all go through, all 35 guys are through, when you re-qualify, there's a regular line. You can sit in it. You can wait your turn. You don't have to give up your time. You go back out. If you're slower, well, you stand on your faster time. Here's the catch to that. There's a fast lane. You could withdraw your time. You could cut the regular line. Say, hey, I'm 5th in the regular line. I want to cut these guys. It's getting late in the day. I don't want to wait any longer. I'm going to cut these guys. I'm moving to the fast lane. But by moving to the fast lane, you withdraw your time. So technically, you've got no time at that point. If you go slower, that's your new time. If you wreck, you've got no time. So it's a risk that you're going to see people do because that regular line is going to get long. You're going to have guys, and then guys play games. You may be 5th or 6th and think, do I want to go a little bit faster because I don't want to get bumped out? I'm going to put my car in this regular line, but I've got no intention of running. I'm just going to take a spot here and force maybe somebody to go in that fast lane. And then if I get to the point where, hey, it's time to go, maybe I don't go. Maybe I just pull off. Or maybe I do go to waste time, but then I'm going to wave my run off and go on my faster run. So a lot of games are going to be played tomorrow. Now I'm going to have all that written about on the post. Well, it's a little bit easier to follow tonight as well. So fans, because I get a casual fan like, what in the hell did you just say? I don't get it. So there's a lot of games.
Have you, in that scenario, have you been able to find out which driver or drivers over the last few years have either taken advantage of it in a positive or been affected by it negatively?
No, because it's year by year, case by case. A couple of years ago, as an example, when they used on Saturday, they didn't do the last row shootout, so this technically would send guys home. Rossi was running, he was on a run, he was already in the fast 9. But he kept going. He didn't need to. He could have pulled off. Like, hey, I'm already in. I'm like 7th. I'm in it's like 5 minutes to go. There's no harm for me to keep going. Just pull off and let somebody else have a try. He stayed out and ran all 4 laps. Pippa Main was next up. She had to bump her way in. And of course she's going to run all 4 laps. While she was going, James Hinchcliffe was next up, but he wasn't in, and he got bumped because he never got a chance to qualify. So you got guys that it's going to affect them. They're going to have guys that are going to stay on track that might, like, hey, my teammate might need some help. I'm going to run all 4 laps, even though if it doesn't help me. So it's a case-by-case scenario.
So you can actually see manipulation
yes,
of one team to another.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll have a guy that might, hey, I've got nothing to lose.
And is that okay? Is that just the way, that's the sport? Or do you look at that as, well, that's, that's going a little too far?
It's a little too far, but I think it adds the drama and the intrigue. I think that spices it up. It might add a rivalry that the series could use. So yeah. I think it adds the drama factor is what it adds, and I applaud it. I'm glad they at least tried something. Then 35 cars all running one time each, and there's your fastest 33 and move on. So at least it adds some intrigue to the weekend.
All right. Again, everything is going to be posted at racereviewonline.net. And what is our schedule going to be? So are we coming back when? Next week? I mean, next week, right? Or are we doing something this weekend, are we?
Yeah. I figured we'll do something Sunday after qualifying. When the field's set, we can talk about qualifying and what happened. Yep.
Okay.
If you want to do a late afternoon, maybe before the practice session starts, I think it ends at 4. I'll have to look at the schedule, what time the Fast 9 ends.
Okay.
But we could talk about who's on the pole, who did what in the Fast 9, what 2 drivers are going home, and kind of just a quick recap of what we saw in qualifying this weekend. And then
will you be able to make predictions for the race on Sunday's show?
Not really, because we'll have that practice that night, and then carb day practice that'll fully really tell us what everybody's got, because now you're not playing any games. It's just race setup. You don't have guys maybe electing to do a qualifying trim. So I'd say next Friday after the carb day practice, for sure, I'll be able to tell you who's going to be good or not.
Well, hopefully we'll have odds to talk about this weekend
definitely
too.
By then, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to see what's going on, because maybe there'll be something where we'll spot it and say, no reason to wait before they take it off the board again. Go here.
Yep, go here, exactly.
Okay.
And I'd be curious to see who enters qualifying, what odds, and who comes out of qualifying with what changed in those odds. So it'd be interesting to watch for that.
Oh, we'll talk about it on Sunday then. And then obviously we'll set everybody up for a week from today. And can't wait. But again, just check out racereviewonline.net, because you're going to basically post stuff every day there, right?
Absolutely. Yep. We'll do
a
couple posts tonight, and then maybe Sunday. Maybe we'll, since between times, maybe we'll when we do live on our show, I'll put my mask on because we're in Marion County, but maybe we'll give you a tour. Maybe I'll give you a tour of the grounds, of the pits and the garage.
Oh, okay, yes, please do.
Yeah, we could do that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Put your damn mask on.
Yep, I'll do it. I'll take one for the team, and then I'll show you the behind the scenes access. Maybe we'll do that after the.
That'd be awesome. And then also remind everybody that we've been posting a lot of the quotes over the last few days. So whenever they come in, we'll continue to do that. Any other important race interviews, especially when the Indy 500 is over, the post-race interviews, we'll be airing them as quickly as we can here on our YouTube channel. So don't forget that you can check that out right here on Prime Sports Network. So Eric, appreciate it. Can't wait to talk again on Sunday and get that tour.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.